All right, you guys tell me this. Is this unhinged? 5 p.m. Coffee, huh? Huh? Where your mom's at? I'm in one hand because I'm holding the camera. My barista wife did not, that does not make her happy at all. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this cup of coffee and then we're gonna take a seat. All right. Check it out. Got the coffee. Oh, that's actually better. I took a sip before I started recording and I was like, it's mid, but it actually tastes a little bit better now. Maybe it's because I got your eyes on me. No, that's only for my wife. Anyway, today's question, where did God meet you in your life? It's coming from Jellybean77. Boom! Right there on the screen. There you go. You're welcome. Where'd you meet God? And that's what I'm answering today. So I got some notes here to help guide me through this. Let's begin. All right. So my story, it begins with Catholicism. And if you know anything about Catholicism, it's a whole lot of legalism. But there's also a lot of love. There's multiple sides. But for me, the reason I say that, I learned a lot of legalism. Okay, all right, yeah, that's it. Learned a lot of legalism. So I knew how to say the right answer, do the right thing. And I grew up in that, very performative, left, right, left, right, left, right. My dad was in the military. What can I say? We keep it on point. That's what it's about, right? So grew up very legalistic. I went to private school, so I did go to these classes. The one thing I remember from being in religious class or religion class is eating paper because it was always right before lunch. So I just rip pieces of my notebook and just chew on them. That's where my mind would go as I prepared to eat lunch. Even though we're supposed to be learning about the saints, they're teaching about the saints, but I don't know. That's where my mind was at. So had that going on. Something else I do remember that seems to be pivotal. I might have been like 5 or 6. There was a play. A lot of churches and Catholic Christian churches will do these plays of the crucifixion and resurrection. And I remember one year where this took place, and I was just a little boy, and I remember being excited for Jesus' return. And I remember telling my parents that or something like that after the play, and they were like, he's not coming back to you right now. I was like, where are you at? Because I was asking the question, like, where are you at? And they were like, yeah, here. And I broke down in tears. It was so freaking devastating to me as a child. So I think that kind of scarred me as a child. And I was like, I guess Jesus isn't as real as he says he is. I mean, he said he's gonna spin the block, but I ain't see him. So anyway, I was in private school from, beginning that I know up to 3rd grade in a cathedral. And then we transitioned to public school. This is where things got very wild. I had some wild things before. It was very wild because they were in my very formative years where I'm like 10 years old. I got bullied. Okay. I was the teacher's pet to, I guess, equivalent. Where I was a snitch, you know what I'm saying? They say a bad word, but look, it's because growing up in private school, you say the cuss word. I told my dad, I got caught up for saying the B word to another kid. That I heard that word from something on a TV show, and I got cooked, boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing that stuff. I'm seeing. I remember the most wild one I remember was we were on a bus, and this kid, there was a little girl. We're all in the same grade. She's on the bus, and then a little boy, he goes and grabs her by the neck. She's smiling. I'm like, what is happening right now? This is before I knew anything about, you're a kid, you're 4th grade. I didn't know anything about porn yet. Well, that was actually the year I discovered it. We can get into that later. But I was like, yo, this is crazy. I snitch. And they're like, he's like, the girl and them, they're all on the same team. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to be a white knight. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I was getting cooked. I was not fitting in. I didn't feel like I belonged with these kids, and I was getting bullied a lot. So it was just like survival mode was my go-to. The coping, this is where porn came in. I'll have to get into that story another time, but I did get introduced to pornography that year. So bullied, that was my coping mechanism. And I'd say that goes on for several years until I get homeschooled in the 8th grade. And this is where things change. This leads us into part 2. Homeschool. This is where a lot of things change for me. Now, this is where the passion, the music, you guys know me as Lonnie Rose, things all kind of start to connect. The beginning, okay? So I was 13 years old when I discovered EDM production because of my older brother who would listen to dubstep, UKF dubstep, that YouTube channel with Flux Pavilion, Skrillex, and all these other artists. It was just revolutionary, like that was a lot of the sounds, and I was introduced, and I was like, I want to do this. I got to do this. So I found a website. It's called Club Create. It no longer exists anymore. But if you guys if you find my original YouTube channel, you can find the very first videos of these 2 different songs that I produced and uploaded on there. Which, there's something on there. But so that's what I did. And that developed. I was on LMMS, which is Linux Multimedia Studio. That later turned into FL Studio. Yes, we all know how a kid can afford FL Studio, of course, right? Anyway, that's how I got into production. And I also started getting known around this time. Around being 14, 15, that's when I started getting known on SoundCloud as Saturn. And that's really where I attached my self-worth, my sense of value, identity, everything, because I was accepted. When I felt rejected at school, not in homeschool. Homeschool was amazing. That's why me and my wife got married, 2 homeschoolers, classic. But that's where I found a lot of acceptance, was in music. Because when I felt rejected by school, I felt accepted over here. So a lot of my value and everything I derived from there. And that's what I began to pursue in life. There was a whole lot of that I was chasing. And I chased for several years, obviously not flamboyantly or like out loud or about it. And this leads us into part 3. Stay with me now. All right, so part 3. Now, this is where things get pretty juicy with the Lord, all right? So, me and my girlfriend, we get together, and we're living Airbnb hopping, right? Airbnb to Airbnb. We're first in St. Louis, then this is what happens, how we ended up in Texas, because I'm in Texas now. So, there was a car accident that my girlfriend was in, But my girlfriend was in and got cooked. Not her. Praise the Lord, praise the Lamb. She's fine. The car got cooked. I mean, like, total the whole thing. Then she also had, there was also a shooting at the place we were staying at, the Airbnb, the complex, not at our spot, but at the elevator, and somebody shot someone's dog. And so we get a message the next day or 2 days later from the Airbnb host saying, hey, we need you guys out because we don't want you involved with the police come. We want to keep them separate. Don't want you guys involved with this investigation. So we'll give you a refund. We got a very nice refund. And I was like, you know what? Nothing left here in St. Louis for me. Doses. I'm going to Texas. I've been wanting to go. Didn't think it was happening this fast, but the opportunities opened up. So I book it down there, invite my girlfriend to come with me. She ends up coming. Absolute darkness. All right. Darkness, insecurity, and just immaturity blending. It was not good, especially after getting bullied. Remember that piece? Yeah. So a lot of dark pieces blending together, toxic time. Now, here's where the light comes in, where things begin to change. All right, so my girlfriend, she's working at a juice bar. I forget the name of it, but she's working at a juice bar, and these students from a school called CFNI come in, and they invite her to a worship night. To her, it's like, oh, word. When she came back, she told me, I went to a Jesus rave. So I'm like, word, a Jesus rave? I ain't been to that, but turned out it was a worship night. And that's where she gave her life to Christ. And how this changed things, instantly she was like, no more sex, and that's what she threw on me. I wanted her to throw something else on me, but it's okay. It's okay. Getting very expressive about this. It was a very intense time in my life. But God is good. You know what I'm saying? God is good. So that happens, and I'm like, whoa, all right, this is challenging me. I'm having to confront some things. She over there being all happy with the joy of the Lord and stuff, and I'm like, yo, the insecurity in me was getting pressed, man. Like feeling insecure, feeling like just not enough, inadequate, and all these different just dark feelings. But I'm seeing God work in her life, and so I'm like, hey, I'm seeing these positive things. What did you do exactly? She's like, I just pray. I watched it, so I'm like, it's undeniable. So I pray. I ask God for friends and whatnot. So I ask God for friends, and she encourages me to read the Bible. And so whether it was a few days, I think it was probably like 48 hours, where I finally gave in. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna open the word. I was, prior to that happening, I was on Google, like searching up how to handle pride, because I have the self-awareness that, hey, pride is not good, and I know I'm full of it, but surely, even though I can fix it on my own, and a lot of it obviously comes from that insecurity of feeling scared that, like, if I let go, that I have to do this, I have to be the one, otherwise me not being enough is just too much to bear. So, but anyway, getting back to it, I opened the Bible, and I opened up to the book of Daniel. And specifically, I didn't know what was on this page. I just saw Daniel at the top, and I just read down. I was like, God, I'm inviting you into this. Now, I was reading down. There was a name of a king I couldn't pronounce at the time, King Nebuchadnezzar. And I was reading how God took everything from this man because of his pride. And immediately I felt seen by God. I was like, I feel like he's here with me. And something that has always set in my heart. There's two things. It was like, never disrespect God, like directly. Like, I'm not going to blaspheme and be like, I acknowledge God, like acknowledge him. Especially for me, it's always been Jesus, Catholic upbringing. So acknowledge Jesus as supreme. The other thing is that he's good, ultimately. Even though I don't understand it, I wasn't in relationship in the way that I am now, I knew he was good. So seeing that, like, if he made the way that he made himself known to me was through the acknowledgement that he sees where I'm at. He sees what I'm going through. And I'm like, there's no way this is a coincidence. It's too much, I felt loved and seen by him. And so I was like, wow, I celebrate. I go to Anna, like, baby, like, this is crazy. She's just like, yeah, this is great. I love that for you, honey. And I'm just having a good time. And I pray and I ask God, Lord, will you give me friends? And he does give me friends. So a few days later, I want to change the scenery. That's something I love about these videos. I just do that. All right, let's switch it up. Is that recording? Oh, shoot. Wait, not this one. So me and my girlfriend, we pull up to the event. Immediately, I'm like, I don't want to be here. I want to, like, let's go to Starbucks down the street. I gotta use the restroom, something like that. For whatever reason, I was feeling like I don't want to go in. Could have been the rejection, could be demonic, probably a blend of the both. But I was like, I don't want to go in. We do that for a few seconds, and then literally, as soon as she's like, not a few seconds, probably like a minute. As soon as she was like, okay, we can go, these two girls from inside of the event at the Fort Worth Convention Center, right outside, this is where they were doing the event, come running in toward us and ushering us in. And as this is happening, they're ministering to her. Once that happens, they minister to her and they say a few words to me. And then my boy Brandon comes running, I'm drenched, looking all majestic. He comes, hugs me, and says, I love you. And I absolutely just crumble. Like, I'm wrecked by the love. I never felt that way before. Like, where you just get held and just say, I love you. Just break down like that. That was a friendship. So, kind of sparing you some of the details. There was a lot of, I got introduced to a lot of different people that night, met a lot of my brothers that ended up discipling me that year and the years to follow, and I got rooted with them. But bigger than all of that, it was that night where myself, as well as my wife, now we both actually got baptized there, and we gave our lives to Christ. And our lives were forever changed. Like, literally, there's stuff, it gets wild. You know how it can be once you're in there. So that is how I met God and where God met me at. It was a very rough time, and he literally changed it all around. I know that was 1 week before my first album came out, To Keep You From Hurting Me. And yeah, I'm sure it was not a coincidence, for such a time as this. Stuttering too much. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Jellybeans, for asking the question, and there will be more videos that I have from other questions, which I'm excited to address. I also have a song dropping tonight at midnight, Start With Who I Am, kind of coincides with this little testimony that I am sharing with you. And so I hope you guys enjoy that and share it with your friends. Every share matters, even if it feels like it doesn't, it helps a lot. And the fact that you guys are really engaged with music means a lot. I know God's told me to do this, so, and it's not necessarily surprising, that's what's surprising, but it's very it means a lot in terms of like, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I care so much for each of you that the music does impact. It's very encouraging, very uplifting, edifying. And yeah, I love you. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And if you're not, I hope it's better now after watching this video, and that you experience the love of God like never before. If you don't know him, invite him in. Literally just ask him to. Just like me, I was like, Lord, show me. So I thought I knew him too. And so that at least that's for me. Maybe you don't, I don't know. But it's all love. You are loved. You're created for a purpose, with purpose, on purpose. You're here for a reason. You're loved. We love you. Godspeed. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.